Imagine an ancient, highly ordered mythological universe where devotion functions with the same predictability as gravity. In this world, Nala, the emperor of Nishada, and Damayanti, the princess of Vidarbha, formed a connection based purely on their reputations, a bond forged by a golden swan trading praises across kingdoms before they ever met. Damayanti's father eventually called a swayamvaram, a royal ceremony to choose a husband. However, 4 immortal gods, Indra, Agni, Varuna, and Yama, decided to intervene. When Damayanti entered the hall, she found 5 identical versions of Nala. 4 of them were gods who could offer her heaven itself. Rather than guessing, she utilized the total purity of her devotion as a diagnostic tool. She prayed to the disguised gods, invoking the truth of her dedication to force them into revealing their true nature. As seen in this comparative graphic, the gods display specific physical tells under the pressure of truth. Unlike the human Nala, whose feet press the earth and who sweats, the gods have unblinking eyes, unwilting garlands, hovering feet, and cast 0 shadows. By identifying the one man anchored to the ground, Damayanti made her choice. Devotion in this universe operates as a rigid structural law, one that even immortal beings are forced to obey. But the rejection angered Kali, the personification of corruption. He recognized a problem. Nala and Damayanti's shared virtue created an impenetrable shield. A direct attack would never breach their defenses. So Kali waited. For 12 years, he watched them rule flawlessly. Then one evening, Nala made a microscopic error. He skipped a single step in his purification rituals before prayer, a tiny procedural flaw that left a crack in his shield. Kali slipped into Nala's mind like a dormant virus. The possession was subtle, slowly altering Nala's baseline behavior and replacing his steady virtue with irritability and a magnetic pull towards self-destruction. Perfect systems are rarely destroyed by outside invasions. They are dismantled from within, by an adversary who knows how to exploit a single procedural flaw. With the parasite inside him, Nala accepted a challenge to play dice against his cousin, Pushkada. This was not a game of chance. It was a systematic execution orchestrated entirely by the demon directing Nala's hands. This flowchart tracks the systematic dismantling of an empire. Roll by roll, the possession strips away Nala's assets. He loses his treasury, his army, his palace, and finally his entire kingdom. Stripping his wealth was just the setup. Kali's primary objective was total isolation. Exiled to the forest with nothing but a single shared cloth, Nala finally breaks. While Damayanti sleeps, he cuts her sari in half and walks into the darkness, abandoning her. Removing someone's external power leaves them ruined on paper. Complete destruction is achieved by forcing them to voluntarily sever their closest human connections. Alone in a lethal forest, Damayanti encounters a hunter who attempts to assault her. She simply curses him, and the laws of this universe strike him dead on the spot. In this environment, her devotion functions as a physical, lethal defense. Nala's survival looks different. Deep in the forest, he rescues Karkotaka, a serpent king, from a fire. In return, the serpent bites him, introducing a severe neurotoxin straight into Nala's system. As we see in this cross-section, the venom acts as a biological quarantine suit. It deforms Nala's body to hide him while compressing the trapped demon. Assuming a false identity, the former emperor washes dishes and drives chariots, carrying this idonizing internal pressure. Surviving complete systemic collapse sometimes requires embracing temporary deformation and internalizing the pain until a cure can be found. Damayanti eventually makes it to safety and initiates a strategic counterattack. She sends out a riddle that only Nala would understand and announces a fake second Swayamvaram happening the very next day, knowing only Nala possesses the skills to drive a chariot there in time. Working as a charioteer for King Rituparna, Nala is ordered to make the impossible one-day journey. During the trip, the 2 men exchange their specialized knowledge. King Rituparna teaches Nala the Akshahridaya, the pure science of numbers, statistics, and the exact probabilities governing the dice. Notice how this process works in our visualization. The exact moment flawless mathematical logic enters Nala's mind, It creates an environment of total order. The demon of chaos cannot survive in such rigid structure, and Kali is violently expelled from his body. The ultimate antidote to chaos and corruption is not a magical spell. It is the complete mastery of pure, unassailable logic. Restored to his true form, Nala reunites with Damayanti and returns to his kingdom. Armed with his new statistical mastery, he wins back his empire in a final game of dice and executes an act of grace by completely forgiving the cousin who ruined him. This story serves as a targeted case study for King Yudhishthira, a man who was at that very moment sitting in exile after losing his own kingdom to a rigged game of dice. It reminds us that even the most righteous individuals are subject to total ruin from a single flaw. Yet foundational systems like truth, dharma, and devotion have an enduring gravity that ultimately restores balance.